Hi again, everybody. I'm Bill Phillips, and this is Bucco Triple Play, where we talk Pittsburgh Pirate baseball. Not only the current Buccos, but we share Pirate tales from the past with Don Sloan and longtime Pirates coach Rich Donnelly. Gentlemen, hello again. Things are starting to get real, as they say, as the Pirates are in the midst of a 10-game stretch with divisional matchups against the Brewers. They just had that Brewers matchup. Now they get the Cardinals. But they are getting it done. They're winning. They take 2 of 3. They wanted to sweep. Didn't happen. Let's start there. Let's start on thoughts of the Brewers series. What do you guys think?
It's easy to Monday morning quarterback. So on Monday, are we disappointed in the loss on Sunday? Disappointed in the 18 strikeouts, whatever? Yes. But let's go back before you Monday morning quarterback. Don't do that. I like to go back, I guess, the Friday look ahead. The Friday look ahead, if you said they'd go into Milwaukee and take 2 out of 3, sign me up, because they only beat the Brewers 3 times all last season.
The thing I like so far about this team, we're spoiled now. We're spoiled. We're upset at 3-3. Donnie Kelly said this morning they're not satisfied with 3-3. Last year they'd be thrilled with 3-3. The whole attitude of the team is we're going to take each game one game at a time. We're not going to worry about, going to this, but one game at a time. But I like what Don Kelly said. The mentality is like, hey, 3-3, yeah, we could have been 4-2 or 5-1, and we want to do better than that.
Yeah, and Bill, that 3-3 Rich is talking about, 3-3 on this road trip. Yeah, sign me up. I'll take it. And the big thing is it's different as a fan this year, because I think last year we spent so much time watching guys in AAA. What's Bubba Chandler doing? What's Connor Griffin doing? And now we're like fans of contending teams where we're riding that roller coaster, and every game means something.
Every game means something, and maybe it's a little bit extra when Paul Skeens is on the mound. Gentlemen, what a performance on Friday night. Thoughts on the big fella?
Skeens was awesome, and then Connor Griffin, that game, also broke out his first home run.
Absolutely. Skeens, like I said before, he's the stopper. I don't believe we're going to have a 6-7 game losing streak at any time this year, because you have him, and if he doesn't do it, then you got Keller, and then you got the rest of the rotation they pitched brilliantly. So this team here, it's different than it was last year.
All right, now Majinski pitched on Sunday, struggled a bit. Where do we think he needs to go? Does he stay in the starting role? It seems like the problem is once he gets through the order once, and he seems very dominant, second time around, Rich, it seems like he's struggling a little bit. How do you get him to be able to go through that second time around in the order, or does he need to move to the bullpen?
Well, sometimes, when a guy starts and has trouble, they look at a lot of different things. They look at maybe how you warmed up. Did you warm up too long? Did you warm up not enough? And the pitching coaches and DK, they'll get together and try to work a formula out, because I think ideally they would want him in that third spot. But if he could just go out there and give them 5 or 6 innings, that's all. Get through that order twice. What a big deal that would be.
Well, Rich, he went 3 2/3, gave up 5 runs and 5 hits, still having trouble that second time through the lineup. Should he go to the bullpen with his stuff when Jarrett Jones is back and ready to go?
Well, Jones is on a rehab. I think he's in Bradenton on a rehab. It's going to take him 3 or 4 starts. So Carmen's going to have a chance to prove that he belongs in that rotation. And like I said before, there was an instance in that game, and you brought it up this morning, where he could have got out of that inning, but there was catcher's interference. After that, it led, I believe, to 4 runs. And I don't know whether that bothered him or not, because you figure, I got the guy out. Daggone it. It's not the catcher's fault. The hitter went back and he hit the catcher's glove. I think, give him a couple more chances. They're doing okay. The bullpen has been better. It was better in Milwaukee than it has been all the rest of the year. So I'm going to give him a few more starts. And then when Jones is ready, maybe, mid-May or June, then we'll talk about that.
All right, we had a heated discussion about catcher's interference, and Rich and Don thinks there's more this year, and Rich, you said if you go back and you look through the history of the game, it seems to be the same guys creating the same hitters that create that catcher's interference.
Yeah, some hitters have a big, wide swing, and if you look at where the catcher's interference occurs, it usually occurs with the same hitters. So as a catcher, you have to do your scouting report to where you find, hey, Nacho Man, every time he comes up, every 100 times he comes up, he has 2 catcher's interference. Why? Because his swing is so big. Okay, fine.
So you're blaming the hitter, not the catcher.
But I'm blaming the catcher for not knowing it. And then the catcher, if he knows that this guy creates catcher's interference, I got to move back a little bit instead of getting up under him like that. So you have to look around and see how many catcher's interferences there are and then adjust.
Do some catchers maybe try to reach?
Yeah, some do. But if you look at the catcher's interference from the hitter's point of view, it's usually the same hitters every time.
And Rich is a former catcher, so he's the guy to talk to and to stop it.
Don, you made me laugh because as a former pitcher, I was like, Reach, get out there and grab it, or that's going over the fence. Please, Rich, grab it.
Well, that comes from that whole framing pitches and so forth too.
Yeah, it sure does. Well, I know one thing that Don loves to see, and that's Paul Skeens on the mound, because you're going to see strikeouts, you're going to see the power pitching. One thing he hates to see is strikeouts when the Pirates hitters are up at the plate. Don, how much hair did you pull out of your head on Sunday watching that game?
Well, I didn't watch Sunday. I listened on the radio, and I'm telling you, you can't beat being outside on a sunny day. That's my old school, listening on the radio. Rich, 18 strikeouts. Come on, you got to put the ball in play. But that was a tough lefty.
Yeah, he was tough. I watched the first 4 or 5 innings, and he was just wiping guys out right and left. 18, that probably won't happen again this year. But the Pirates do have a little problem. I watched. They have a guy named Cruz who's on pace for 240 strikeouts right now. He has almost 50 almost, and we're not even a third of the way through the year. So they have to adjust, cut down their swing, put the ball in play. I don't think 18 will happen again the rest of the year.
You a radio guy or TV guy?
I'm a radio guy.
That goes for me too. Nothing better than being on a drive and listening to the radio.
Bill, I'll tell you why. Because I have a long honey-do list, and you can multitask because you're outside, you're working hard, looking like you're busy. You got the game on the earbuds. You got the game on the radio.
Every dinner that I had when I was small, we had it with Bob Prince. Bob Prince was at our dinner table every night. The radio was right there while my mom was cooking the spaghetti and meatballs. So I'm a radio guy.
Absolutely got to go with the radio. It's great. It's just a great way to listen to a ball game. Now, today's guest is former Pittsburgh Pirate pitching legend Steve Blass, who shares his thoughts on the Bucco season so far.
I'm watching them a lot closer than I have been in previous years. We're spending some money. I'm excited about this kid, Connor Griffin. I'll give you a caveat on that. He's seeing breaking balls for strikes that he's never seen before. So I think he's going to be very, very good, very good. But it's a matter of when, not if, because he's seen a lot of stuff he's never seen. This major league pitching sometimes gets a lot of criticism, but if you're a young hitter coming up, you're seeing some things you haven't seen before. So I'm very optimistic about him. But now that we got some offense, I think it's very competitive Pirate baseball.
Yeah, Steve, I was talking last night about, I give a lot of credit to our scouting department. The Pirates, as far as I know, they're the only team that has all 5 starters that are homegrown. So we got to give a lot of credit to our scouts. I mean, every guy. And then the other part of our rotation I like, they always talk about, the first starter, who's 1, who's 2, who's 3. Our supposedly 4 or 5s are pretty darn good. They'd be 2 or 3s on other teams.
Yeah, absolutely. I think maybe we can say the obvious. We have a number 1, but the next 4 guys in back of Paul Skeens are they're in a group where they can be number 2 every other day with the other guys, and I think it's a good mix and a strong mix in back of Paul Skeens. So it's a staff that we're very optimistic about and like. And it's going to be interesting when Jared Jones comes back, because he's got one of the live arms also, and we know what he's capable of doing. So I think when he's ready to come back, it's going to be a very good, if you will, a very good problem to figure out who the mix is going to be.
That is Pirate legend Steve Blass. Pirates fans protect what matters most with Laudamus Communications and Security. From homes to businesses, their managed security systems are monitored 24/7 and built with cutting-edge technology, giving you control, confidence, and even instant lockdown when it matters most. Laudamus Communications and Security, always connected, always protected. Just Right Home Care. We are hiring. Competitive wages, flexible hours, and paid travel expenses. Join our team of reliable and friendly caregivers by applying in person at 2197 National Road in Wheeling or calling 304-233-1414 to set up an interview. Gold is trading around $5,000 an ounce. Now is the time to sell your gold. Due to popular demand, the National Gold and Silver Refinery at the Holiday Inn in West Virginia, in Weirton, West Virginia, has expanded hours. Open Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. and Fridays until 4 p.m. Get top dollar in cash from the team you can trust. It's time now to open the National Gold and Silver Refinery Riches Treasure Chest with today's guest, former Pittsburgh Pirate great, Steve Blass.
Kids now don't know what D-ball was.
Or
I
the
looked
roof.
at your number. You started out in Kingston, Batavia, my God. And by the way, you were 17-3 at Kingston, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, you're not mistaken, Rich, but there's another part of that story. I started in Asheville and I was 1-4, and I got sent down to Kingston. And I had the year of my life and bumped from Kingston, Class B, all the way up to AAA ball. But I was down there, and there was a left-hander that I came up through the organization with, Frank Bork. I was 17-3, and Frank won 19. So we had some pretty good pitching down there in Kinston, North Carolina.
And I'm going to take a wild guess. Those 17, I bet you didn't go 5 too often.
I went 5 a lot, but I kept going. I think back in those days, if they came out to the mound after the fifth inning, I would have fought them for the baseball.
Well, here's my Steve Blass story. Did you know that you were once traded for Dave Parker?
No.
Well, here's the story. 5th grade, we used to take all of our baseball cards to school, and everybody was envious because your 1974 baseball card is one of the top 10 I've ever seen. He's got arms and legs going. It is so cool. It's at Three Rivers. Great card, 1974. Everybody wanted that card. I got a 1975 Dave Parker for your 1974 Steve Blass. So you, in fact, Steve Blass, were once traded for Dave Parker.
For a Hall of Famer. Yeah.
How about that? You know what's interesting about that? That was the second time I ever got traded. When I was 8 years old, my first year in Little League, I was selected by the Yankees, and they gave out the uniforms, and the Yankees didn't have a small enough uniform for me. I got traded to the Giants my first year of Little League, and that's one of the few stories that I tell that is true. And so I wound up with the Giants. Yeah, but hey, that's pretty good stuff, getting traded for a Hall of Famer, by the way.
Yeah.
Well, you can use that next time you do a speech. I'll give you licensing to use that story.
Okay.
Hey, Steve, tell the people coming out of high school in a baseball-rich state like Connecticut. What was your mindset coming out of college, coming out of high school, signing and thinking someday I'm going to pitch the 7th game of the World Series? What was your mindset coming out of high school? And then when you got to Batavia or Kingston, how far away did the big leagues look?
First of all, I never dared think about it. I dared dream about it, fantasize about it, but I never gave it a whole lot of thought. Our town, by the way, 500 people, Falls Village, Connecticut. We were so small, we didn't even have a town drunk. The guys had to rotate until Uncle Larry got his turn, and then the rotation stopped. But when I went away, guys, I was so naive. 18 years old. Mom had always cooked for me, done my laundry for me. I didn't know what to do. I went to a rooming house. Thank goodness there were 3 or 4 other kids there, because I didn't know what was going on. To the point where I got, after a couple of weeks, I had to do some laundry. So I took some dirty underwear and socks down to the laundromat. Never done that. Threw them all in the machine. And then I saw this thing up on the wall. This vending machine said soap. So I had 12 items, 6 pair of underwear, 6 pair of socks. And so I got 12 little boxes. I got a little box for each item. That soap in, the stuff started gushing out, and I ran away. And again, one more true story. I mailed my laundry back from Kingsport, Tennessee, in the Rookie League to Falls Village, Connecticut. My mom did the laundry. There was a little box with straps around it. And this is 1960. And she would mail it back to me. And that stopped only when in August in Kingsport, when it was really hot, Mom did the clothes and put in 24 chocolate chip cookies in those clean clothes. You got the image? You got the image what it looked like?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I learned how to do the laundry, the laundromat after that. But I was so naive. And when I didn't dare think from Kingsport, I'm going to be a big league pitcher. You didn't dare think that way. I was just trying to get by. And on top of that, I did very, very well in Kingsport. And so after a month of July, right out of high school, I elevated to Class D in Dubuque, Iowa. And so I went up there and promptly got a little lesson about the next notch going up through the whole ladder. But the interesting thing, guys, that helped me back then, and it went all the way back to grammar school and high school. They talk about obsession. And I wasn't obsessed with thinking about the major leagues or the World Series. I was obsessed with finding out if I was going to be good enough to go to the next level, if I was going to be enough to pitch in our high school. And I was obsessed with finding out. The two words I'd lived by all the way up through that whole chain ladder, up through the minor leagues, obsessed with finding out. I was obsessed with finding out the night before the 7th game of the World Series, because you don't know until you do it. But I was obsessed with finding out. And I think that helped my mindset to try to find out at the next level. When I got sent up from Kinston up to AAA, obsessed with finding out if I was good enough to pitch in AAA. So that was kind of a foundation for me, obsessed with finding out.
Complete game, 1971 World Series.
Only one.
Last
one in the National League. Jack Morris had something after that in the American League. But you know how tough it is to throw strikes in the bottom of the 9th inning, 7th game, 2-1. Throw strikes when you're peeing your pants.
Could you breathe? Could you breathe at all? Yeah.
No, and I would have had changed my underwear if I had time.
Well, they must have been tight, because the epic photo in Pirate history is a young Steve Blass leaping so high after that last out. And Bob Robertson's a pretty big dude. Bob Robertson's over at first base. Your feet are as high as his waist.
Yeah.
How did you do that?
That's release and adrenaline that you're so locked up and locked in that ball went over from Jackie Hernandez to Robertson. The ball went by me, and all I did was turn around and I said, "Catch it." And he said, "Now throw it." And I turned to Robertson and I said, "Now you catch it." And then all hell breaks loose. It's an unbelievable release, and you're physically tired. You think you are, but the adrenaline is still going there. And I haven't jumped that high since, obviously. But I picked the right guy. Bob Robertson thought he said there's a mental patient running over to kill me.
Hey, Steve, tell the fans a little bit about that year. With Danny Murtaugh, Clemente, all the guys. Did you guys feel all during the year that you had a pretty darn good team and had a shot? Because Baltimore was pretty darn good when he got into the series.
Yeah, they were rated one of the best teams in the last 75 or 80 years, 420 game winners, Hall of Famers. But, we had been collecting a lot of talent. Richie talked about a farm system for the Pirates that have created this rotation. But back in the late 60s and into 1970, we had been stockpiling a lot of talent because you talk about Al Oliver, Doc Ellis, Manny Sanguin, Bob Robertson, Richie Hebner, Gene Kleins, Dave Cash, all those guys, Bob Moose. They were all kind of waiting for their turn. And when we formed that kind of group with a few great leftovers from 1960 championship team, in 1970, it started getting real good because we had that young minor league talent that was evolving, and you still had Stargell, Clemente, Mazeroski. You talk about people, people talk about a black guy, a white guy, a Latino guy, but I go beyond that. I talk about leaders, and not talking so much, but paying attention how they approach their craft and their leadership without even talking about it, but just showing it day after day to that young group. It was the perfect mix. So in 70, we started getting good. We got in the playoffs and we got swept by the Reds. But the next year, we knew we were good. We knew we were going to be very competitive. That was a heck of a baseball team. And Bill Verdon still says when he managed the 72 team after, he said, I always thought the 71 team was great, but the 72 team was even better because of having gone through the World Series. But 71, we ran through that division pretty good. And it was a pretty solid team, but we saw it coming through the late 60s and early into 1970. It was a really good baseball team.
Do you have gold or unwanted jewelry? Now is the time to sell. Due to popular demand, the National Gold and Silver Refinery at the Holiday Inn in Weirton, West Virginia, has expanded hours, open Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., and Fridays until 4 p.m. With gold trading around $5,000 an ounce, now is the time to sell. Looking for compassionate, reliable care for a loved one in the Wheeling area? Just Right Home Care is here to help. Their dedicated team provides personalized in-home support, from daily assistance and companionship to specialized care, so your family member can stay safe and comfortable at home with a focus on dignity, respect, and peace of mind. Just Right Home Care treats every client like family. Learn more today, because the right care makes all the difference. Call 304-233-1414. In life-changing moments, you need a lawyer who is ready to stand firm. Mike Nogay has over 40 years of courtroom experience securing results in personal injury, medical malpractice, and serious criminal defense cases across West Virginia, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. That's Weirton attorney Mike Nogay Law, where your fight is his fight. Speaking of fight, this week it's a fight with the St. Louis Cardinals. The Pirates, they have a 4-game series with the Cardinals coming up. Let's take a look at some of the pitching matchups in this one. And you take a look here at Montgomery. And gentlemen, I'm going to ask you this about he's the reliever coming in to start. Is it a bullpen game? Do you like the way the Pirates are using this as the Pirates lineup goes against May?
Well, this is a bullpen game out of necessity because of Braxton Ashcraft. It was his turn in the rotation, but he's on the bereavement list. Then the plan after Montgomery is to go to the rookie Wilbur Dotel. So I'm concerned about this one.
Yeah, you got to be careful you don't go through 5 and 6 relievers, because there's no off day tomorrow, no off day till next Monday. So they have to do this, and you have to adjust. And I know they're going to move Skeens back a day, I believe, also. So they're erring on the side of caution. And we just hope tonight that they can get through this game. I know DK's probably thinking, man, if we can get through this game with 4 pitchers, it's a win whether we win or lose.
All right, now Tuesday, the Cardinals, they will send Kyle Leah, is that how you say his name? Leahy, yep. Thank you. And the Bucs side, Braxton Ashcraft, who is on bereavement right now, he is penciled in for Tuesday. What do we think about this matchup, John?
Well, here's the thing. If he's back and can go Tuesday, great. But as the 5th day would work out, Bubba Chandler actually could go Tuesday. But I think they'd like to get Ashcraft in so he's not backed up too much, which would then move Chandler to Wednesday. And when you look at Wednesday, Bill, it doesn't look good. Wednesday could be a rain day.
It really could be. It's scattered showers. It may not be an all-day event, but that can, as we learned earlier, and Rich, I'll go to you on this one. You get a starter. If he's out for maybe 45 minutes, an hour, when you get a rain delay, now everything gets thrown into the mix again with the bullpen. Yeah,
it's tough. You can't schedule your pitcher, your rotation according to the weather. You just have to do it normal. If it rains, it rains. It isn't, because you don't know. You may schedule it for the rain. It may not rain, or else it may rain and you have a 20-minute delay and you're okay.
And we look at it, the worst start for Mitch Keller this year. Keller, they had the rain delay for 25 minutes, and that's the inning he walked all the guys and had the problem in the first inning, and they fell behind 4 runs. Then, of course, you had the Skeens bobblehead game where he started. He went 4 innings. They were cruising, and they removed him because of the rain delay. So if it works out to get around the rain, that's fabulous. Skeens is scheduled to pitch on Thursday, but if there is a rain out and they get backed up, It's not bad, Bill, because they've got the Reds next, so you're staying in the division.
You're staying in the division, and then we take a look at Skeens, and 4-1, 2.4. And is the big train rolling, Rich?
The big train is rolling. It has left the station, and it's headed to the destination called Cy Young. I mean, he's once-in-a-lifetime pitcher. People around here, fans, have to realize what they have here. It's a once-in-a-generational pitcher. This guy's not going to – I mean, he's almost going to win every game he starts. He's going to have 35 starts. I think he's going to end up with close to, 20, 25 wins. I really do.
That lines up for a Cy Young Award at the end of the season. Now let's take a look at the Cardinal hitters that the Pirates pitchers will be facing. And we begin, Jordan Walker has been absolutely sensational. It really starts and ends with him. You have the 283 average, 8 home runs, 16 runs driven, and had, a 15 game hitting streak as well. Church, Wynn, Burleson, Herrera, and Weatherholt. They've got some solid hitters, but they're looking for more production. The Pirates pitchers looking to shut them down. Gentlemen, as you take an overall look at the St. Louis Cardinals, what do you see as they head into Pittsburgh to take on the Pirates this week?
Well, the first thing I see is that they're on a 4-game losing streak. And Jordan Walker has really been the guy that's helped salvage that season for them so far. They still have a winning record. Weatherholt from Mars, PA, he's been phenomenal, the former WVU standout. But, I mean, a lot of these averages, 238 for Weatherholt, 240, 245. Gorman, their second baseman, a low average. They're having a tough time scoring runs. So if you get through the Monday, the bullpen game, I think the Pirates should really be able to hold these guys in check.
If I was the Cardinals, what I would do, I know their manager very well, Oliver Marmol. If I was him, what I would do, I would use reverse psychology. I wouldn't let them watch any films of the Pirate pitchers, because if they do, they're going to be disheartened. You're going to watch Skeen and go, oh my Lord, how do we hit this guy? Here comes Ashcraft. Oh my Lord, how do we hit this guy? Here comes Chandler. He's throwing 100 miles an hour in the 5th inning. What I would do, I would hide all the tape, throw it in the garbage, and just go out and play. You'll have a better chance, because if you watch that tape of Skeens, you're going to be really disheartened when you get to face him, I'm telling you.
And you get Skeens on a getaway day on a Thursday after playing the night before. That spells trouble.
Yeah, getaway days, it happens. Umpires they're conditioned to have bigger strike zones on getaway days, because they want to get that flight at night. They don't want to fly out the next morning. So bad combination for the hitters, Skeens and travel day.
Well, it may be a rough one. That might be a 3 down for the Cardinals facing Skeens on a getaway day. Well, let's talk about 3 up and 3 down right now. And we begin with 3 up. And we begin with Don.
The Cincinnati Reds. Sal Stewart has been phenomenal. 303 average, 9 home runs, 29 RBIs, and 7 stolen bases. This is a guy to me looks like he's going to be the Rookie of the Year. Interesting stat. Here in the Ohio Valley, Jimmy Pastor from here is in Boca Raton, Florida, has a speed camp. He sent me pictures the other day. Sal Stewart was going to his camps from the time he was 10 years old.
Wow. So
a good connection there, and Sal Stewart, boy, he's been something else.
All right, Rich, who do you have? 3 up.
Well, back here on the eastern part of the country, we don't hear a lot about teams on the west. However, the Oakland A's, managed by one of my former players, Mark Kotze, they're in first place. They were picked for last place. They're playing great. Jack Wilson's son is their shortstop, just signed an 8-year contract. Keep an eye on the Oakland A's as we move on down the season.
And finally, my 3 up, Lane Thomas from the Kansas City Royals, 3-run home run last night against the Los Angeles Angels to win that one. Walk-off home run last night. What about 3 down? Don, where do we start?
Well, the Baltimore Orioles, they got thumped. Thumped 17-1 Saturday by the Red Sox. So you get thumped by a team 17-1, and then they go and fire their manager, the Red Sox did. Not the team that got thumped, the team that just thumped you. So the Orioles.
All right, the Orioles getting beat up. Rich?
Well, my 3 down is myself.
Okay.
As a human being, you have a lot of rights, but one of the rights you have is the right to change your mind. And I stood here in this studio and I predicted about 2 weeks ago that the Pirates would win 81 games. Well, I'm changing my mind. What I've seen so far from the pitching, from the hitting, from Don Kelly, how he's running the team, everything, I'm going to change my mind. The Pirates are now, without a doubt, a contender. That 81 is going up, somewhere between 81 and 90. I like to go, if you go 15 wins a month, which is about 500, that would put you in playoff territory. And I think this team can do it. They're not going to have, and maybe, I don't know, I might have to bite my tongue on this, they're not going to have a 5 or 6 game losing streak because the big boy's there. And if the big boy can't do it, then the second big boy, Keller, will do it. So they might have a streak where they win 6 or 7. I can't believe they're going to lose 6 or 7. So I'm changing my 81 to somewhere between, 83 and 90. Unbelievable, but I think they can do it from what I've seen.
See, now I actually think that's a 3-up. Because you're aware of who you are, you're aware of what you want to do, and you're saying the high tide raises all boats, so let's go. So I think it's a 3-up.
Well, it's good to get the pessimistic guy. It's good to get him on board of the Bucco train.
Yeah, that's what he needs to jump on board with the big train. There we go.
I think you should give my wife Roberta a 3-up because it's the first time in my life that I said it's my fault.
All right. Well, here we go. 3 down for me. Don mentioned it briefly. The Boston Red Sox. Alex Cora, who many consider one of the best managers in all of baseball, was fired just 27 games into the season, 10-17, but there's a new general manager. Maybe there's a little bit of a power struggle. And he said, you know what? I didn't hire Alex Cora. We're 7 below 500 early in the season. They let him go. Bad move by the Red Sox. I'm not sure what they're thinking there, but Alex Cora won't be long before he is back managing a big league ball club. So that is 3 up and 3 down. Now let's take a look at the standings from around the National League Central. So let's take a look at the standings right now. And here we go. Got to put the glasses on so I can see everything.
Yeah.
And
how about the Red Hot Reds, Bill?
Yeah.
They won 8 out of 10.
Rich, I'll tell you what. We're going to talk about the Reds, but all I heard Friday night and Thursday night, we were doing our draft show for the Steelers and the Browns and everybody else, the NFL draft show. The Reds aren't losing. The Reds aren't going to lose. They're making me crazy. They're not going to lose. They need to lose, and they're not losing. So we have to have an intervention for Don, or he might get a little bit too upset by the end of the season if the Reds don't start to lose.
Well, they were down. They lost that game, had a long rain delay, and they lost on a walk-off. They won on a walk-off home run. It was what, and that's the thing. This team does not quit. They fight, they scrap, they battle. And they keep doing it. The Cubs that night did the same thing against the Dodgers.
Yeah, Rich, what do you see from around the National League Central? Who do you like as we get basically 25 or so games in, and we still have a long way to go, about 140 left, but who do you like around the Central right now?
Well, one thing, the Brewers are kind of wounded right now, and they're going to get their guys back and be a lot better. But I think what you should do with the Central Division is when you see it on your phone every morning or read it in the newspaper, turn it upside down. And then the next day, turn it upside down again, because you're going to have a different leader almost every 5 or 6 days. The Brewers aren't going to be bad the whole year. The Reds aren't going to be that good. I mean, they're in a streak right now, and they're going to run into a bad streak. I don't think the Bucks are, like I said, because of the stopper and the second stopper. So I think it's going to be up and down all year. It's going to be close. I think it's going to be like a horse race until the top of the stretch. Top of the stretch, the jockey's going to get the whip out. The jockeys never use the whip until they get to the top of the stretch. They don't use it coming out of the gate. And you're going to see at the end, at the top of the stretch, these teams, the cream will come to the top, and I think the Pirates they got some cream in them.
But remember this, Rich. I'll do it because it's been a long time since we had a reason as a Pirate fan to wake up in the morning and look at the standings. So I'll take it. I'll look at the standings every morning with my coffee because it's been a long time.
Absolutely. And speaking of horse races, we'll talk about the Kentucky Derby, which comes up this weekend a little bit later on our next Bucco Triple play. A little bit surprise. We have a pick for you. You'll have to pay attention for that as that comes up. Now, what about this weekend if you want to watch?
One more thing.
Okay, one more.
Can we take a look at the Around the Central notes?
Okay.
What's interesting, the Cubs and the Reds are at the top of the division, and they're battling injury troubles, Billy. Cubs, lefty reliever Riley Martin, he's on the IL. 7 Cubs pitchers on the IL.
That's a lot of pitchers on the IL.
Reds, we know Hunter Green's been out. Nick Lodolo, he tossed 5 scoreless innings in a rehab start. That's 2 guys that were going to be key cogs in their rotation, both in the IL. Cardinals, I got to keep an eye on. Outfield prospect Joshua Baez. He's now hit 6 home runs at AAA Memphis. So we talk about our prospects. Well, let me tell you, other guys have prospects. And then Quinn Priester, second rehab start for the Brewers. He's a key cog in that rotation. Second rehab start struggled. Only 18 of 45 pitches in the strike zone. Your thoughts, Rich, on some of those notes?
Well, my boss, Jim Leadon, they asked him one time, who has the best pitching staff? And he said, looking around, he thought a minute, and then he said, the healthiest. So we're going to keep our fingers crossed. As of now, the Pirates have the best staff. Keep our fingers crossed. There's no injuries. Maybe, like I say, we'll get a call up from Jones or somebody else during the year. But the healthiest right now, the Pirates have the best pitching in baseball, and that's going to bode them well in this division. I think the Brewers are going to be a lot better when they get their guys back. I don't think the Reds will be as hot as they are. I think they'll come back to the pack a little bit. I think the constant is there in there is that the Pirates pitching, if they stay healthy, they're going to be right in the mix the whole year.
And Bill, Fox 9, your place to be for Major League Baseball.
Absolutely. This weekend, let's take a look at some of the games that you'll be able to catch on Fox 9. And here we go. Saturday, Cardinals, Dodgers. And that is, that's 7 o'clock in the evening, May 2nd, Saturday o'clock in the evening. And then Bucco Triple Play broadcast schedule, Saturday, May 2nd, 2 p.m. on Fox 9. And then on Saturday, May 9th at 1 in the afternoon on Fox 9. And then Saturday, May 16th at 3:30 in the afternoon on Fox 9. Of course, if you want to catch the Bucco Triple Play, you just need to go to the Facebook graphic, scan the QR code here, and you'll be able to find anything and everything you would like about Bucco Triple Play. We have it for you at all times. And there it is, Bucco Triple Play Facebook page. See segments from our shows. And gentlemen, before we say so long, final thoughts from the two of you.
Here's my final thought. Let's take the tight shot of Rich. So Rich, look at that camera. I just realized something. Our guest, our special guest on this show, Rich, look over your right shoulder. He's been looking over your shoulder. No, that's your left. You're right. Steve Blass has been looking over your shoulder. Did you feel a little bit of special inspiration with Steve Blass being over your shoulder?
Well, I need a lot of inspiration, and there was nobody I'd have look over my shoulder rather than my good buddy Steve. I mean,
that's a young Steve Blass.
One of the old-time greats, dear friend. And, when I was little growing up, he was one of my idols. And then all of a sudden you get to work with him and be his friend and have him on your show. It's unbelievable. So I love that guy.
I'll tell you what, one of the great pitching performances in World Series history, what he did in that World Series was absolutely sensational.
And Billy, after the Cardinals, take care of business at home. You've got 4 at home with the Cardinals, then the Reds come in for 3. Very big stretch for the Pirates.
I believe someone said 7-3. It may have been the Nacho Man, Don Sloan. 7-3, wants 7-3 on this stretch.
And we're 2-1. So remember how you feel today. You feel today, you're thinking you can go 5-2. So I don't. That's what I'm saying. 5-2 will work. We don't want to come back and be like, oh my goodness, we went 5-2, but lost the last game.
If you get hot during this week with your predictions, I'm coming to you Friday for a Derby winner.
There you go.
Well, we'll talk about the Derby on Friday. But yes, Bill, I was hot on the NFL draft. I made big predictions then, so I'm on a roll.
All right, guys, we have to say so long for now. Thank you for joining us, everybody, on this edition of the Bucco Triple Play Podcast.